All right, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating framework called the Coherent Nexus. Now, this is all about taking concepts we usually think of as, well, kind of mystical, things like intuition and synchronicity, and looking at them in a completely new light, as something we can actually understand and work with. So, let me just start with this question. What if coincidence doesn't really exist? What if those moments of perfect timing and happy accidents aren't random at all, but are actually something you can influence? That's the core idea we're going to unpack today.
To even begin to get our heads around this, we have to start by thinking about the mind a little differently. Not just as a brain inside our skull, but as an active interface with the world around us.
So here's the formal definition. The theory calls this the interface, and it's the idea that our mind creates this energetic field. This field is constantly sending out waves that literally interact with the fabric of reality at a quantum level. And here's the key part. The coherence of that field, how clear it is, determines the kind of impact it has. It basically breaks down into 3 steps. First, your thoughts and your emotions, they're not just in your head, they generate real energetic signals. Step 2, this theory proposes that those signals go out and interact with the quantum particles that make up, well, everything. And finally, step 3, the clarity of your signal, its coherence, is what dictates how much it can actually influence things. Probably the easiest way to think about this is with a metaphor. Imagine your mind is a radio transmitter. It's on 24/7, constantly broadcasting a signal out to the universe. And that signal is shaped by everything going on inside you. Now, according to this model, it's not just about sending any old signal. It's all about the quality of that broadcast. And that brings us to the most important concept in this entire framework, coherence. So the framework basically says you're in one of 2 states. There's coherence, which is when your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are all aligned. That's a clear, powerful signal. It's harmony. Then there's incoherence, and that's all the static noise, the inner conflict, the doubt, the fear. That's when your signal is just a mess. This quote absolutely nails the core idea. This isn't just a rehash of just think positive thoughts. It's deeper. It's saying you attract what you are, the total sum of your energy. So, for example, if you're trying to think about being wealthy, but deep down you feel a sense of lack, that's an incoherent signal. You're broadcasting static. Okay, so if the mind is a transmitter, it's also a receiver. And this is how the framework totally reframes intuition. It's not some magical gift you're born with, it's a skill. It's the skill of tuning in and receiving a very subtle signal. So, within this framework, intuition is defined as your ability to pick up and understand the subtle information from the energetic field around you. That gut feeling you get, that sudden flash of insight. The theory says that's you experiencing a moment of pure coherence. You're receiving a direct download of information that your logical mind just can't process. And if we bring back our radio metaphor, this makes perfect sense, right? When your inner world is calm and coherent, your radio is perfectly tuned. There's no static. You can actually hear the broadcast that's always been there. But if your mind is just a storm of incoherent noise and conflict, there's no way you can pick that subtle signal out from the static. So if intuition is about receiving the signal, synchronicity is what happens when the universe signals back. It's the outside world giving you proof that your broadcast is being heard loud and clear. From this point of view, synchronicity is no longer a happy accident. The theory describes it as the exact moment reality answers your coherent signal. It's the tangible, visible proof that your inner frequency is actually resonating with what's happening on the outside. And you know exactly what these moments feel like. You're thinking about someone, and then they call. The perfect opportunity just lands in your lap right when you need it. According to this framework, those aren't random. Those are moments of pure resonance. Okay, so this is all a really fascinating way to look at the world, but the big question is, how can you actually use this? Let's get into the practical techniques that are suggested for both individuals and for teams. So for you as an individual, the work is really about becoming a kind of energetic detective. The whole goal is to find and clear out all the sources of your inner static, those conflicting beliefs and hidden fears that are scrambling your signal. And the source material lays out 3 really simple but powerful techniques. First, you diagnose your incoherence, figure out where the conflict is. Second, you create a daily coherence ritual to consciously align yourself. And third, you start a synchronicity log to actually track the evidence, which is huge because it builds your belief and reinforces the whole cycle. This is the core of that diagnosis step. You have to get brutally honest and ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. What signal are my thoughts sending?
2. What emotion am I actually feeling right now? And 3. What does my deepest self, my subconscious, truly believe? Any gap, any conflict between your answers, that's the source of your static.
Now, what's really cool is that these ideas aren't just for individuals. The framework suggests you can use the exact same principles to align an entire team, or even a whole company. The goal is to create a collective, coherent field where everyone is broadcasting the same powerful signal. And one way they do this is with a collective intention exercise. So instead of kicking off a big meeting with an agenda and spreadsheets, the team just takes a moment. They close their eyes, they all visualize the shared goal as if it's already done, and most importantly, they tap into the collective feeling of that success. The idea is to get everyone's energy aligned into one powerful, resonant broadcast. So we'll end with the central question this whole framework puts forward. If your life is a constant broadcast, what signal are you sending out right now, today? Is it clear and coherent, or is it full of static? Because according to this theory, the answer to that question might just determine what the universe decides to broadcast back to you.